you need to have the audacity to try. And I say this to you, I say this to myself all the time. Anytime I am saddled with doubt, anytime I find myself down and out, when I feel that I'm way in over my head, or that the comfort of having a designated sort of lane is much easier for me as a man, that I should just stay there, right? And I have to constantly battle against that feeling. And I tell you what, really the thing is, my sort of casus belli, my reason to wage war against this mindset is what? It's very simple. And it's nothing, you got to find out what works for you, right? And define that for yourself. But for me in particular is what? It is to make and create beauty. And so whatever that looks like for you, then pursue that. But I think I wanted to strip it of its wildness, right? Like an onion. I wanted to peel it back to its essence. And I thought to myself, whatever endeavor that I choose to get into, I need to find out, well, what is it at the bottom of it, right? The kernel of that truth. What is it? What is it that's going to keep me going when things don't work out? What is it that's going to get me to wake up in the morning to push past my own limitations when things aren't going right? Because inevitably they will go awry. They will get sour. Things do get difficult. And so I needed to think to myself, when I do have that moment of reckoning, what can I count on, right? And I can count on the fact that I can lean my hat, I can rest my head at night, knowing that I did everything in my power to curate and create as much beauty as possible. And look, at the end of the day, the audacity to try costs you nothing. Other than what? Other than, of course, your sweat equity, your psyche, right? Your mental health, physically, emotionally exhausting. Yes, of course, it costs you that, but it costs you nothing to try in terms of, you got nothing to lose. No one's watching. I'll be honest with you, no one cares. I mean, some people do ask, and some people do care, but in general, the public, right, the plebs don't really care how little or how far you get in life. And that's just the reality. And so maybe that takes the pressure off of you, and you feel like, you know what, maybe I'll try this out. Maybe it doesn't help. It doesn't hurt, rather, to go ahead and push and do something and create something of beauty that is going to satisfy me. And look, what's the worst that's going to happen if it doesn't work out? You go back to working a regular job. I mean, that's really the worst thing that could happen. And that's not even that bad. So think about it from that perspective. It's like you have much more to lose than you do. Wait, no, you have much more to gain than you do to lose. I was like, wait a minute, where am I? And look, this is the thing. There's a blueprint to a stable life already. And I think that's the scary part, right? Of trying, right? Of having the audacity to try, is that there is no necessarily a blueprint for what you want to do outside of what's already prescribed. And the blueprint, quite frankly, is easy to spot. It's easy to see. It's everywhere around you. And it's a very much paved road. But it's also very much, that stability in itself is very much, it's boring. It's tragic in many ways. It's waiting for retirement to start living. It's waiting for a check every month at a prescribed moment. And it really leaves far little time for any excitement or anything interesting to happen, because you're operating in a time-space compression that leaves very little surprise, very little serendipity to happen, because you've decided to box yourself in. And so, like I said, that blueprint to the stable life, I mean, you see it all around you. Go ahead and just look around at all the older people that you see around you. I mean, they're living fairly stable lives. And if you like that, if you want that, then obviously that's a different story. But I'm talking about the people that think and want to push themselves to try to do something outside of that. Because I think that's where life gives you the best squeeze, right? And you get all the emotions, the panoply of emotions get revealed if you push yourself outside of that. And you got to think to yourself, what's the alternative, right? What is the alternative in terms of of that blueprint, right? And it's what it's a lot of excitement, but it's definitely, it leaves a lot of room for heartbreak. I'm not going to pretend and say that things will work out. It's very noisy at the bottom, so it's very difficult to trudge along and get out of that bottom section, right? Especially when you're starting off and doing something from scratch. But there's a lot of joy and tremendous benefits out of doing something, creating something, and putting all your energy into that and making it become something. I think there's something extremely beautiful and especially important as a man to do that. I feel like it's your civic duty. There's a rite of passage to do something like that. And if you study any of the greats, any of the people of the past, any of these great men, you realize that they all had a body of work and they all were pursuing something. And whether little or small, but the point is they were all willing to put themselves out there. And so you should do the same. I think it's in our interest to all do this, to all at least try to do this. And like I said, what's the worst that's going to happen? You go back to a regular job, and you know what? And look at it this way. No matter what, you're going to come away a different person. Whatever it is that you did to get to that next place in life, it's going to make you different. And I think you could lay your hat on that part, right? Is that you're not going to be the same person going into it than when you came out of it. And that in itself should be enough to say, hey, you know what? I need to have the audacity to try. Anyhow, I hope this helps, and I'll see you in the next one.